At some point in your career as a cop, there's going to come a day where you have a split-second decision on whether or not you're going to take somebody's life. No pressure.
Hours got me charged.
What's up, guys? Don't get me wrong, I really love doing vlogs, I really do, but I am super excited about this one. There's a ton of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes that I'm really excited to share with you guys today. My first announcement is finally, after months and months of you guys asking me, I'm finally selling merchandise. So if you guys want to grab a shirt or a mug or stickers or whatever, I'll put the link in the description below. I will go ahead and warn you, the shirts are a little bit pricey, and the reason for that is I didn't want my shirts falling apart after like 3 times in the washer. So they're really good quality materials. It's by American Appeal, and but they're gonna hold up for a long time. So if you guys want to buy some shit and support me, check it out. Announcement number 2. I am so excited about this announcement, and I am such a nerd that I'm literally shaking like Michael J. Fox. That was fucked up. So my second announcement is I am finally releasing my website. Now, it's not so much the regular website that I'm excited about. Attached to the website, I've started a web forum. So I've been sending out messages to a lot of my regular subscribers. A lot of you comment on every one of my videos, and it's awesome. So there's a few of you that already have had early access to this. So I wanted to come up with a way where all my subscribers could chat with me one-on-one and with each other. I wanted to create like a community for everybody that's subscribed on this page. And I'm not sure, please don't quote me on this, I'm probably totally wrong, but as far as I know, I am the only YouTuber that has an official forum where their subscribers can talk to each other. And what's cool about the forum is that I actually am assigning army ranks to users who have to meet a certain post count. So you start as like a recruit with no insignia whatsoever, and then once you reach a certain amount of posts, I think it's 10 or 15, then you make private, then private first class, and your insignia is actually displayed next to your name. It's kind of just like an incentive to keep people active and stuff. I'm literally trying to build an army of subscribers. And I've also included other ranks on the forum that are kind of specialized. You can't reach them by post count. And the 2 main ones, other than the moderators, we have like moderator, super moderator, and administrator. They all have little badges. But the 2 other specialized badges, I have one for my Patreon subscribers. Their names are displayed in yellow. They have a little trophy that's under their name. And then I decided to add verified law enforcement. So if you are a cop and you sign up on this forum, then there's going to be a long process, but you'll get a badge and your name will be changed to white. And these special ranks are kind of designed to set you apart from everybody else. And for the law enforcement and my Patreon subscribers, there's actually a hidden forum for both of those ranks where only people with those ranks can even see them. So I'm not going to go on a big long advertisement about this. I'm super excited about this. I'm so excited about talking with all of you on a regular basis, and I wanted to set this up for you guys. I kind of hit on this in another one of my videos. I want to be the one YouTuber that is notorious for interacting with his subscribers. I want to try to maintain contact with my community as much as possible, and that was sort of the reason for creating this forum, so we can all talk together, we can all chat, we can all have a good time. And a little incentive for you guys is the ranking system in the forum. So I encourage you guys, please, if you want to get more involved in the community, I'll put a link in the description below to the forum, and just a quick register. You gotta verify it through email, and you're good, you're done. The best part about the forum is that it's all completely free. I'm not making any money off of this. In fact, I'm actually paying to have it up, but I really want to do this for you guys. So hopefully a lot of you will sign up, and we'll see you there. So any of you that are thinking about a career in law enforcement, there's going to come a point at some time during your career that you're going to have a split second to make a life-changing decision. There might be a day where you have to take somebody's life, and it's nothing any of us look forward to. Unfortunately, it is an inevitable fact. You have to take that into account before you get into this line of work. I've been in a lot of dangerous situations, but there are 2 in particular that stick out more than anything else. So before I got into law enforcement, I used to do a lot of ride-alongs. I would ride with different local departments and just kind of get a feel for them and see which one I wanted to work at the most, and which one appealed to me the most. So after I decided who I wanted to go with, I went to the academy, I graduated, I started with my department, and I continued doing ride-alongs after that. I really wanted to expand my knowledge, I wanted to learn more about the job, and I wanted to kind of model what I did off of other officers, take their best traits and kind of form it into one, and I wanted to be that. So a buddy of mine used to have me ride with him all the time. This guy was he was a staff sergeant in a city that was north of where I'm at. So I used to ride with him all the time before and after the academy. I probably did 30 ride-alongs with this guy. So I remember one night we were on this long stretch of highway, and there was a semi-truck, and we were about to run the DOT numbers on it just to check and make sure they're in compliance. Well, as we're running that DOT number, dispatch alerts us that there's a chase coming in from the county south of us. So immediately, like, we're whipping a U-turn in the grass in the middle of the highway. We race into town, and like right as we get to the stop sign on the main stretch of road, we see the red and blue lights like 2 miles down the road coming our way. And we knew the county south of us was chasing a silver Chrysler 300. So immediately, my buddy, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and I was still a new officer at the time. I had only been doing it for maybe a year. So he jumps into the road, and we start going, and we're trying to box this guy in. He's behind us. So, you know, obviously we want to try to keep it as safe as possible, so, you know, we're not going to like slam on our brakes and have him hit us and all that. That shit's in the movies. So this guy ends up getting around us, and we become the lead vehicle in the chase. And we got up to 130 miles an hour on this 2-lane road. Well, after like 10 miles going north, this guy decided he wanted to take a left-hand turn 90 degrees at like 50 miles an hour. So he ends up going off the road, and he comes back up. And by this time, like, our adrenaline is pumped. We're ready to fuck something up. So when he goes off into the grass, he comes back up onto the road, and without any hesitation, my buddy just slams into the back of his car. Just rams the hell out of him, trying to spin him out. So now his car has spun, and now he's facing all the officers that were chasing him. So we end up parking behind the guy. Oh, God's special people. So we end up parking behind the guy, and of course we get out, like, guns drawn, like screaming at him and shit like that. And I'll never forget this moment, because I remember my finger was on the trigger. I was facing the driver's side of the car. Like, the front of his car was facing left, the rear of his car was facing right. And I remember I had the side of his head in my sights, and I was squeezing the trigger. Now, no, you're not normally going to try to kill somebody just because they run from you. However, a little preface to this is the fact that he had tried running over officers right before this chase started. So it was already a deadly force situation. Well, this guy, he had like the white knuckle death grip on the steering wheel. I'll never forget it. It looked like a deer in headlights. So he ends up putting his car in reverse, and he floors it. And I'm kind of glad I didn't shoot now, and I'll explain that in a second. So my buddy jumps out of the way, and by jumping out of the way, he jumps into my way. So right away, like, I point my gun down, obviously. I don't want to shoot him. And this guy in the Chrysler rams into our car, and then puts it in drive and takes off back towards the officers that were chasing him. As soon as his car was in drive, all I heard was pow, 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 and like glass is flying everywhere, and this dude's like weaving in between patrol cars. The funny part about this chase was when we ran back to the car, I got into my buddy's car on the passenger side. I put on my seatbelt, like I closed my door, I had my hands up on the dash, like I was ready. And I look over, and his skinny ass is like yanking on the door because he left his door open. So when the guy rammed into his car, it pushed the door like all the way to the front wheel. So I look over, and he's just yanking on this door trying to get it to close, and he is cussing this thing for everything it's worth, and I was cracking up. So anyway, long story short, the guy ends up, it turns out my buddy, the one I was riding with, he ended up shooting him twice. He got him, I think, in the leg, and then the second round went through his arm into his lung, and the guy made it like half a mile down the road, and he gave up. They had to call a helicopter to come in and get him. He ended up living, of course. Shitheads always end up living. I don't wish death on anybody, but you did try to run over some officers. So the reason why I'm glad I didn't shoot is my department found out that I had done this ride along and that I had been involved, because I had to get interviewed by GBI. It's like the state's FBI. So the sheriff himself took me and my buddy to the police department, and we both had to get interrogated by GBI. They took our guns, they took everything. Thank God I didn't shoot, because number one, I got my gun back. Number two, the police department I worked for found out that I was doing a ride along with their weapon. Stupid, stupid, stupid mistake on my part. I was young, I was dumb, I was gung-ho. The only thing that saved my ass, and for those of you that are gonna go to the academy or you wanna be cops later in life, whatever, if you don't take anything else from what I've told you in my videos, don't ever lie. Do not ever lie. When Internal Affairs brings you into their office, 9 times out of 10, they already know the answer. They're trying to test you and your integrity to see if you're telling the truth or not. I guarantee you they already know the answer to whatever they're about to ask you. And then they might ask you some questions that they don't know the answer to. They're not going to tell you which ones they do and don't know. They're using some as a control to figure out whether you're lying or not. The only thing that saved my ass from getting fired is I was completely honest about the entire situation. Yes, I was using your gun. Yes, I had your ammo. It won't happen again. Because I owned up to it, I got a write-up and like a slap on the hand, and that was it. The captain was like, okay, well, don't do that shit again. Thanks for being honest. So in all the years I've been doing this and all the dangerous encounters I've had, there is one time that sticks out above anything else, and I almost killed somebody. We get a call. I was on regular patrol, and dispatch put out a bolo, be on the lookout, for a red Ford Ranger driven by a white male wearing a red hat who just committed an armed robbery in this town that was like right next to us. About 10 minutes later, like I'm just cruising down a main road, and what do I see pop out? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning too, mind you. I see a little red Ford Ranger pulling out, going in the same direction I was. I about shit a brick. Another stupid mistake I made was stopping the guy by myself. All I did was tell everybody where I was at, and then I went ahead and stopped him, and that was a stupid mistake on my part. Anyway, long story short, I end up stopping the guy, and he matched the description. This was him. And he had a red hat on, white guy, red Ford Ranger. Not many of those out at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I walk up to the vehicle, I get him out, and I have him sit on the black push bumper on the front of my car. And I'm in the car running his information. This was the moment I realized where I had been trained really well, because this is where muscle memory took over. And muscle memory basically means you do an action and you don't even think about it. It's just the way you were trained, and you've done it so repetitively that it just comes to you. Well, this was the moment that muscle memory kicked in. This guy had his legs crossed, leaned up against the front of my car, facing away. Out of nowhere, this guy sprints for his truck, like straight up Olympic style sprint. Where muscle memory took over was all I remember is being inside the car. I remember having the microphone. I was calling in his information. Next thing I remember is I am standing outside the car. My gun is pointed at the back of his head, and I'm squeezing the trigger. I've seen so many videos of people running back to their car and grabbing guns and everything else. They show you a lot of those videos, and they kind of train you for those scenarios. So when he ran back to his car, it just triggered something in me to pull out my weapon and get ready to fire. His saving grace, the thing that kept this man alive on this night, was when he got close to his truck, he grabbed the outside frame of it and he stuck his left foot inside and hit the parking brake. His truck was rolling backwards and he didn't want it to hit my patrol car. It wasn't the guy. This guy had just gotten off from work. And as soon as I realized what happened, I got my finger. I don't think I've ever let go of a trigger that fast in my life. And I was literally shaking. I was scared to death because I almost killed someone that was completely innocent for no reason. And here's where being a cop kind of sucks. I would have been perfectly justified in taking this guy's life. When it would have come to like legal and court and stuff like that, I would have been perfectly justified. However, I would have had to live with the fact that I just killed an innocent man for the rest of my life, and that's not something I want to live with. And what's funny about the whole situation is this guy never knew I was even outside of my car. I had blinded him with so much light that as soon as he grabbed onto his truck and he put his parking brake on, he started walking back on the phone, and of course, like, my gun goes right back in the holster, and I'm standing there like, holy shit. Oh my God, are you serious right now? And to this day, the guy never even knew that my gun was out of the holster, and I almost took the back of his head off. So I'm not trying to discourage those of you that want to be in law enforcement, but there are going to be moments where you, like I said, you have to make a split-second decision, and everybody else in the world, judges, lawyers, internet warriors, are going to have months to years to pick apart that decision. They're going to find any little thing wrong with it. Just something to keep in mind before you get into this. Guys, I'm looking at my recorder. I'm already going on 25 minutes of video I'm going to edit, so I'm sure this is probably going to be a pretty lengthy video. Anyway, I wanted to take a second to thank you guys so much for your support. Like I said, I've got that website up so we can all communicate and so we can all chat and everything else. So take advantage, sign up, it's free, and hopefully that forum community will grow as my subscriber count goes up. I just hit 2,500 subscribers, so hopefully that number will go up, and hopefully we'll have more activity on the forum. If you guys want to ask me any questions, or you want to post funny videos or pictures or whatever, I put all those sections up there, and I'll probably end up adding more. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will get another vlog out soon.